Hello Drive Radio fans, Richard Rush here today with Walt McLean behind the camera, and this is the review of the all-new 2016 Toyota Prius. For those of you that are Prius fans, you know that this is the new model that they've come out with. We actually had a first look at this back in, I think it's April, February, April, I'm not sure, right around that time frame, here in Denver at the Denver Auto Show. They gave us kind of a special look at it, a special preview. They had just announced it, and it really has been an interesting car to drive in terms of Priuses, especially out here in Colorado. We've got a lot of these vehicles out here. They do really well. Toyota does really well in selling these vehicles. So it really is a tremendous car for them out here in the Colorado region. Few quick notes before we get into it. This is completely redesigned for 2016, as I mentioned. The cargo room, which is some of the biggest factors in why people love the Prius, the cargo room is actually increased by 14%, which is pretty incredible. 6 trim levels, not the most, I guess, creative names that Toyota could have come up with, but still 6 trim levels. The 2 Eco, the 3 Touring, the 4, and the 4 Touring. So when you go to the Toyota lot or the Toyota website, you'll see it as the Toyota Prius 2, or the Toyota Prius 4 Touring, or the 3, or the Eco 2. The Eco, or the 2 Eco, is specific to this year. It's got increased fuel economy, 56 miles per gallon combined. Not going to talk about that much today because this is the 4 Touring model, which you can say is the top of the line trim package. However, does not have all the added features that you can get on this specific trim level. So with that being said, let's jump right into the review. Walt will give them a walk around of the car, and you can really see what has changed a lot on this vehicle in terms of the exterior styling. For those of you that are familiar with Prius, they've added a lot of different looks and nooks and crannies to it. They've given it a sleeker, more enhanced look up here with the front. Has beautiful headlights on it. And excuse me, yes, that is an opinion, however it's the truth. They look fantastic. What comes standard on the 4, and the reason I'm going to tell you that is because what comes on the 4 Touring is in addition to what comes standard on the 4. Blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, automatic wipers, leatherette upholstery with a white stitching, contrast stitching on it, heated front seats, a power driver seat, which we'll talk about more in just a second, and rear cargo cover also, which you can see right now as Walt goes along the side. The 4 Touring adds 17-inch alloy wheels, fog lights, which you saw up front, the LED clearance package, which is really nice, looks really sleek, a unique rear bumper, which is what we're getting to around over here, a contrast blue stitching, which we'll show you on the interior in just a second, the Toyota Safety Sense package. What the Toyota Safety Sense package actually offers, and I'm going to come right over here really quick, is full adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning and intervention, so not just a warning, but it'll actually steer you back into your lane, and pre-collision warning, or pre-collision alerts as well. So I apologize about the dirtiness. We just had rain here in Colorado just a second ago, and we've got some more rain on its way in, but you can see the redesigned styling on the rear. This is going to be the biggest change that a lot of you are going to see, because a lot of you are similar to the Prius in terms of what it looks like and kind of in terms of this futuristic sort of style. But you can see what they've done with the taillights. They've kind of indented them in, then brought them back out, added some different flutings to it. Just really a different look than what you've been used to and accustomed to on Priuses in the past. You do have the dual pane windows right here, which is to help you see out of the back. Instead of having to look out of this top window, you're able to see out of this bottom window. This is actually gives you the full ability to see out there. Some other packages that are available on the Prius. The advanced technology package, which this vehicle does not have, gives you the sunroof and a heads-up display, and a premium convenience package, which this car does have on it, for $1,700, which gives you the JBL 10-speaker sound system, the Safety Connect, which we mentioned before, and it also has a self-parking system on it. The other option on this Prius, which brings the total price to $32,935, is the special color, and it actually has a really pretty color to it, and that is specifically called Hypersonic Red. So with that, why don't we just jump right into the back seat, or not to the back seat, to the trunk portion. So key fob in my pocket, gonna lift it open. Doesn't have an automatic trunk, but if you do, it does have this pneumatic system right here that you can use. So as we get into the back here, something to note in terms of cargo capacity and cargo space for the 2016 Prius. For a few of the models without a spare tire, you have 24.6 cubic feet of cargo room. Or with the spare tire, I'm sorry. Without the spare tire, which the Prius 4 does not, and I believe it's the Prius 2, do not have a spare tire. So it does not have a spare tire in here. Some of you are going to say, well, it's got a jack stand and everything, a wrench, everything that you need in here. Correct. But if you can see down here, it's got an emergency tire puncture repair kit and a compressor right there. So it does not have a full spare tire in here. And by doing that, they've given you almost 3 more cubic feet of cargo capacity by not having that spare tire in here, which is really, really nice. One thing really quick, I'm going to leave Walt right there. I'm going to show you, if you just push this seat down, you get a lot of room. I don't have exact numbers on here. I just know that we were able to fit a grill cover in here, a ladder in here this past weekend, all of our groceries, anything that you could imagine, we were able to put in this back seat. So Prius, you get thumbs up from us on there. And as we mentioned in the opening, you do have the option of this cargo cover right here, which works really, really well if you don't want people to be able to see into your back cargo room. So, well, actually, why don't we kind of come around here, and I've got this seat down, and we'll just show you the back seat. So, actually, I'll just kind of hop in. Very similar trim, very easy. One thing to note on the 2016 model year, they have removed, and I'll close this really quick, they have, by changing some things with the driver's seat and giving you more front seat room, they've actually lessened the rear leg room by 2 inches. Something to note, not a huge deal. So slide in. And as you can see, this gives me, I still have plenty of leg room. Again, this is set for a 5'9", 5'10" driver, myself. This is over here where Walt was sitting. Walt's about 6'4". And as you can see, you had to put it all the way back, and there was some, you'd be pretty hard pressed to get a full-size adult in there. But just something to note. We always like to point that out, the differences, but more than enough room in here. There's no vents, there's no heated seats. You do have a power port here on the back side. You've got some storage right here up front. Again, nice leatherette materials, not a ton of soft touch materials. That's not a big deal. And you do, we won't show you this, but you do have 2 cup holders there in the middle center console. So we're gonna hop out, and again, very easy to get in and out in terms of the egress of that. But I'm gonna kind of pause the video. We'll go around to the front seat, show you a little bit of the interior apportionments and how much that has changed for 2016, and then we'll take a drive in the 2016 Toyota Prius. All right, fans, we're here for the front seat portion, 2016 Toyota Prius. I want to show you this before we take a quick drive. We didn't show you the back apportionments all that well, so we're going to show you the front apportionments on the door. Walt, if you can kind of just pan over to that and just see, again, not a lot of soft touch materials, just a little bit, some nice storage room on the side over there. You do have the automatic windows, which are really, really nice. As you come throughout the cabin, you've got kind of a blue trimmed vent right here, and so there's some nice sleek styling that Toyota has done. The one thing that is going to pop out on this vehicle is the center kind of stack here. Real quick before I forget, the blue stitching, which is part of those, which is part of that 4 touring model that we mentioned right here, is just kind of up here and down the sides a little bit. But yes, the center stack of this boom white finish that they have added on to you. We've gotten multiple different reviews on this. We'll get into that in a little bit, but this is new for 2016. You do have the QI charging right here, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe comes standard if I am. One thing to note, again, iPhone 6s Plus, you're able to put that in here, and if you did have the QI technology on your phone, you could fit that there and it would work, which is something that we have not seen a whole lot of, to be honest with you, in these vehicles. You do have heated seats in the front and front 2 passenger, which are right here and right here. A little bit hard to get to, but not a big deal. Your shift knob right here, your different modes. A great big 7-inch touchscreen here in the center that has Toyota's Entune system on it. Works really, really well. Not a big enough cabin for dual climate control, so that's not a huge concern. And all of your other steering wheel controls right there, and your display right here. But with that, we'll actually take a drive. It's a lot easier to see this kind of from the back seat. So stay tuned. 2016 Toyota Prius. All right, fans, here we are for the driving portion. Before we do that, again, all new 2016 Toyota Prius. Want to show you a little bit more of the center stack and what it is. So you'll notice you don't have your typical gauge cluster right in front of the steering wheel right here. Everything has kind of moved to the center. This is your information display. So you've got your speedometer right here, your fuel economy. This is where you can change a lot of your information. I don't really know what to call it, to be honest with you. I just know it really kind of is your information display is what we like to call it. So what you would typically find in the small portion of your dash, that's where you find it right there. There's a lot of different places that you can go with it, see what you're driving, what your energy monitor is. You can go and switch over to your navigation, to your music, to what the fuel is doing at this point in time, or not the fuel, but the climate control, your lane departure systems right there, any messages and any settings that you did want to change, all right there. The nav system is very similar to all the other Toyotas. We're not going to get into that today. A lot of different things in there. You do have the automatic wipers we mentioned. You do have the auto high beams on here, as well as the auto lights, which is really nice. On the steering wheel, you've got your lane departure warnings, as well as your this is for your frontal collision, and as well as your cruise control, adaptive cruise control, excuse me. And your other controls are over on this side, and the parking button to have your park assist and self-parking is on the left side over here. So with that, last thing before we do that, we'll kind of show them this. Your drive modes, which is sport, normal, and eco. Your EV mode, so 4 modes to choose from, your parking brake, and here's your gear selector. For those of you that aren't familiar with Prius, the B is for essentially braking, so if you're going down hills, whatever it might be, it's going to help you with some engine braking, that sort of thing. And I probably am using the wrong term, so if I am, I apologize. But it just helps you in terms of braking. It adds a little bit more oomph, so you don't have to use as much of the brake pedal for that. So with that being said, let's shift real quick. You'll notice, because it is that hybrid, you can't really tell. It does give you this beep letting you know that you are in reverse. No dynamic grid lines, not a huge thing, just something to note that we always like to tell people. And you do have side sensors all along the side of the vehicle. So we're going to put this into drive and we're going to start moving. Toyota has added a double wishbone suspension in the rear to help with the ride comfort and ride quality on the 2016 Prius. So in terms of the ride quality, it's a lot better than other Priuses. In terms of ride comfort and ride, I guess, noise, it's pretty much standard on what you would find, a little bit quieter than in years past. And we try to usually kind of show you how quiet it is, but honestly in this vehicle you're not going to notice, because you can't, a lot of the times you can't even hear the engine running. Overall, relatively comfortable car to drive, not the biggest speed demon in the world by any stretch of the imagination. 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine with a CVT transmission with a couple of electric motors in there to help everything go. If you do notice, if I hit that brake, and it's hard to hear, but you can hear the transmission kind of rev up a little bit. Again, just helps you slow down a little bit, puts more energy back into the battery than if you were to, rather than you having to use the brake. It's a nice feature, something that takes a little bit getting used to, but Toyota makes it really nice because the gear selector is right here in the center, so you don't have to really mess with it all that much. You just kind of drive it, and then you get used to it. As you start going down the hills, you just push down and you push it into that B, and it lets you drive, or lets you slow down and recapture quite a bit of that energy. Can't show you the adaptive cruise control, cannot show you the lane departure warning. All that works really, really well. Toyota has done a great job on that, and for this price tag of about $32,000, they have really done a great job at enhancing some of those features. We wish you could take you out kind of on the highway. It's a little bit difficult sometimes with our reviews to do that. One other thing to note before we get into our opinion, I want to make sure that I have this right. For 2016, it has a lower driver's seat, so you're not sitting quite as high. You're not on that perched level that you have been on past Priuses. You're just kind of, you're here. It feels more like actually a car and a vehicle. So it's something Toyota done a pretty good job at of kind of listening to driver complaints. I've heard a lot of that in the past from other Prius drivers, that they felt like they were just kind of in a spaceship sort of feeling, which is kind of a spaceship car in terms of how the hybrid system works, but it really works, I guess, well, and I like what they've done with the driver's seat. With all that said, what do we think of this car? I'll be honest, you're either going to love the looks or you're going to hate the looks. They've kind of grown on me a little bit. I had several family members who first looked at it and were like, oh my goodness, what did Toyota do? Some other people said, wow, I really like that. Actually, I had some family members who were some Prius owners. They looked at it and said, Oh, wow, I really like what they've done. They've really improved it. This white, all white center stack, kind of center area of the car, you're either gonna love it or hate it. It definitely makes the car stand out, definitely makes this area stand out, and makes it really nice and crisp and clear to look at. Sometimes it also has a very plasticky feel to it, and when you look at it, for some people, my wife included, she looked at it and said, oh, that doesn't look very good. Something to note, in terms of the technology, Toyota has done a tremendous job on the hybrid system, one of the best in the industry, actually in our opinion, the best in the industry in terms of their hybrid technology. All of the advanced safety systems that are available for you are really, really great, work really, really well, absolutely fantastic to use. Driving quality, fuel economy, just on this trip alone, we've averaged 58 because we've just been a little bit in terms of fuel economy. I'm going to actually see if I can't see what we've been averaging this entire time. So I've been averaging, since we got this car, about 52 miles per gallon, which is exactly what it's rated for. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier, but 54 city, 50 highway. So tremendous fuel economy. They've increased it from the previous year, so Toyota, 2 thumbs up. If you're interested in this vehicle, head to Toyota's website, check it out there, head to your local Toyota dealer. Get your family in it, get your friends in it, get your cargo in it, whatever you're gonna do to be able to put that in the back seat to see if this car fits you. And if it does, tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.